Let me ask you something. Have you ever looked back at a period of your life and thought, what was I doing? Not because you made one mistake, but because you slowly wasted something valuable without realizing it. Maybe it was your time, maybe it was your health, maybe it was your attention, maybe it was opportunities that will never come back. At the time, it didn't feel important. You assumed there would always be more time, more chances, more energy, more tomorrows. But then life moves forward, and suddenly you realize something. Some things can be recovered, others can't. Think about it. Imagine a young man who inherits $2 million when he's 16 years old, no effort required, no sacrifice required, no years of work, just a fortune dropped into his lap. At first, everyone thinks he's lucky, and honestly, he is. He has a head start most people could only dream about. Now imagine what he does with it instead of investing it. He spends it instead of building something. He consumes instead of thinking about his future. He chases whatever feels good in the moment, a new experience, a new distraction, a new thrill, a new person, a new excuse. At first it doesn't seem like a problem because he still has plenty left. That's always how it starts. The amount feels endless, so the consequences feel invisible. And that's where most people get stuck. Because when something feels abundant, we treat it carelessly. Think about it. Why do people waste hours scrolling on their phone? Why do people postpone important goals? Why do people ignore their health in their 20s? Because deep down, they believe they'll have time later. The future feels unlimited until it isn't. Slowly, the money disappears. Slowly, the opportunities disappear. Slowly, the advantage disappears. And one day he wakes up and realizes he's no longer the person with unlimited potential. He's just another guy trying to catch up. What most people don't realize is that the biggest losses in life rarely happen overnight. They're usually invisible, they happen quietly. One careless choice, one distraction, one wasted weekend, one compromise, one excuse, repeated hundreds of times, until years have passed. And that's why this story isn't really about money. It's about something much deeper. Because every single one of us is born with a form of wealth. Not financial wealth, life wealth, your youth, your energy, your attention, your focus, your health, your ability to learn, your ability to take risks, your ability to change direction. These things are assets. And just like money, they can be invested or they can be spent. Think about it. A 20-year-old and a 40-year-old might have the same amount of money, but they don't have the same opportunities. Because some opportunities belong to certain seasons of life. Once that season passes, it passes. And that's a difficult truth to accept because nobody likes thinking about what they've wasted. But here's the thing. Avoiding the truth doesn't stop the consequences. If you zoom out for a second, you'll notice something interesting. Many people still see themselves based on who they used to be, not who they are today. The guy who was talented in high school, the athlete who was once in great shape, the entrepreneur who had one successful year, the student who used to have big dreams. They continue carrying the identity, but the actions no longer support it, and over time, a gap begins to appear. A gap between reality and self-image. That's why some people seem confident on the surface but feel empty inside. Because deep down, they know they're living off old achievements, old potential, old possibilities. Think about it. Potential is valuable, but only when it's used. Unused potential is like money sitting in a bank account while your house falls apart. It feels good to know it's there. But if it never becomes action, what difference does it really make? And that's where the deeper lesson begins. This isn't a story about wasting money, it's not even a story about bad decisions, it's a story about identity. The real danger isn't losing resources, the real danger is becoming the kind of person who constantly trades long-term fulfillment for short-term pleasure, because habits shape identity. Over time, every decision becomes a vote for the person you're becoming. Every time you choose comfort over growth, every time you choose distraction over focus, every time you choose instant gratification over patience, you're casting another vote, and eventually, those votes create a life. Not because of one dramatic mistake, but because of thousands of small decisions. Think about it. Most people don't ruin their lives in a single moment. They drift, slowly, quietly, comfortably, until one day they realize they're far away from the person they wanted to become, and that's painful. Because regret hits differently when you know you had the opportunity, when you know you had the ability. When you know life gave you something valuable and you didn't protect it. Be honest with yourself. What are you spending right now that you can't get back? Your time, your attention, your health, your potential, your focus, your 20s, your dreams. Because every day you're spending something. The question is whether you're investing it or consuming it. But here's the good news. As long as you're breathing, the story isn't over. You don't need to spend the next 10 years regretting the last 10. You don't need to become obsessed with the past. The past already took its payment. Learn the lesson and move forward. Start paying attention to where your time goes. Start protecting your focus. Start treating your energy like something valuable. Start making decisions that your future self will thank you for. Not because life is a race, not because you need to become perfect, but because the resources you still have deserve respect. And maybe that's the lesson most people learn too late. Life gives all of us a fortune, not in gold, not in cash, but in time. And the tragedy isn't losing it. The tragedy is not realizing how valuable it was until it's almost gone. So before you worry about what you've already spent, ask yourself something more important. What are you doing with what's left? Because that answer will shape the rest of your life.